What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Clutch. Today, we're hanging out with a very good friend of mine, Mr. Marshall Platts of Marshal Law Morphs.
Hey, how is it going?
It's going great, man. How are you doing?
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
I heard Marines don't get tired.
No, we get tired. We just keep going.
You just embrace the suck.
Exactly. This sucks. Let's do some more.
That was the epitome of my military career.
Yeah. My favorite thing about my military career was it was heavy weapons, so we used a lot of vehicles. And one of the things that was kind of SOP was taking U.S. Army or U.S. Navy decals off our vehicles so that we could use them and then have to put Marine Corps identification on them. That was
how was using the Vietnam era ammunition?
Oh, dude.
How'd you like our hand-me-downs? I'm just wondering.
No, that was my whole MOS, man. So Jesus. When I went in the infantry, and my first year and a half, I was Marine Corps Security Force, the anti-terrorism unit, basically a glorified security guard. But after that, then I went into my infantry unit, and I tell you what, it was madness driving a lot of these things, because one of our things that we had to do before we would go overseas is we'd have to I can't even remember what we call it, but we'd have to do exercises for one of the things that our platoon was in charge of was airport security. So we had to be air mobile. And so we'd switch out from using Humvees, and we'd switch over to the M515 Jeeps, basically because they all fit into CH-53 helicopters. So you go from driving Hummers to driving old Willys Jeeps and grinding gears and shit like that and load them up into helicopters. And I was a gunner. And if you're a gunner on the third vehicle of these helicopters, you were strapped to the ramp. So when you look over your shoulder, you're looking at the freaking ground like, oh shit. So, and you're not strapped down tightly. So you're just kind of swaying around as
you're just waiting. You're waiting for that drop.
Yep. Anytime you're doing exercises or training or everything is low to the ground and following the contours, and it's up and over and down and around. So I hated
that G-force practice.
Yeah, exactly.
How was it serving under the Mad Dog?
The Mad Dog. Some of it was crazy. Some of it was like, one of the things I hated the most about the Marine Corps is on a Friday or a Saturday, and you're leaving your dorm room to go to town, and inevitably there's some guy up there. He's like, you got a fucking belt on? Yeah, I got a belt on. Jesus Christ, let me go. You got your shoes laced up? Yeah, they're laced up. Leave me alone. I'm going to town. So always a good time.
Right. I think that brings everyone together, man. Like, we find, or at least what I find, like the stories that are shared between veterans more often than not are like the stupid, idiotic things that we had to go through that you would never wish on any other man. But now that you look back on it, it's like the funniest fucking situation.
Even like gas chamber training. Like, who in the right mind? Hey, you know what? Let's just pop this.
We have to make sure that these military members trust their equipment. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's torture the fuck out of them.
Yup.
Well, to be fair, so I got so used to the CS gas. Hey, buddy, what are you doing?
That's Roman. Are you going night night? Is it bedtime? Yeah.
I got so used to the CS chamber that I didn't even wear a mask. Like as a medic, I would go in there and I'd just cover it. Like
Yeah.
I do my medical coverage inside without a mask on, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing, doc?" Like
Yeah.
it doesn't affect me anymore. I've spent so much time in this crap; it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
And my platoon used to hate me though, because I'd act like it was PT. Like we'd have to shovel out for the freaking chamber at like 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, USP at 4 o'clock. You freaking drive for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Especially out here, because you're only doing 35 in a convoy or some crap like that.
Yep.
And so we get out there and they're all tired. Oh,
hey, you got to go talk to mom.
He's getting it, man. Getting it.
I'm like, oh. And the worst part is I know that my wife sent him down because of the last time. I don't know. Did you tune in for Reptiles Unplugged?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I was on it with
you were there. Oh my God, I'm a retard.
A fucking Marine memory, man.
Yeah. No, she was laughing so hard about that last time, and she made a joke about it. I'm gonna send him down right at 8 o'clock. You would. Uh-huh.
But no, I used to PT my guys. I would treat it like it was a regular PT session, and they'd come in to file to do their certification. I'd be like, "Hey, you missed PT this morning. Let's go. Take your mask off." They hated me.
Yeah.
It was fun times, man. Like just the stupid shit like that you'll never be able to get away with again. That's the best memories.
Where else can you just like shove something in someone's face that's going to just make them leak from every orifice and like snot, vomit, it's like, oh God. Enjoy it.
It was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I want to jump into it, man. We got our military hazing each other out of the way a little bit. Even though you're a crown eater, I still love you. What got you into reptiles? And I'm not going to say ball pythons specifically, but reptiles.
I kind of like to think that I didn't take the normal path that 75% of the people that you're going to talk to, like a lot of people, I grew up with reptiles, I used to go running around catching lizards and snakes and this and that. I didn't grow up that way. For those that are listening that don't know, I live in North Dakota. There's just really, other than your common garter snakes, there's not a lot for reptiles around here. And I grew up in a little town that was 1,500 people, and my dad is a retired deputy sheriff. So it's like everybody in town knew me. Like they not just knew my name, but hey, your dad arrested me last night or some shit like that. So we didn't have a pet store. I had to go to like the local dime store just to look at like a hamster and stuff. Everything around here was, it's dogs, cats, cattle, goats, chickens, farm livestock. If I wanted to go see a reptile, I'd have to go probably 2-3 hours to some bigger cities. And when I say bigger city, probably about 50,000 people, Right. So when I was growing up, access to a lot of reptiles, it wasn't there. And it wasn't until I was in the Marine Corps and I got to my last year in the Marine Corps. I was in my dorm room and there was a knock on the door. And one of the guys came in and he's like, "Hey, any of you guys missing a pet?" And we're like, "No, we ain't got no fucking pets here. What?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a snake. There's a snake in the broom closet." I'm like, what? So we got up and I walked over into the broom closet down the hall or whatever and opened up and here's sure as shit, there's a snake. It's curled up in the corner. And I'm like, okay, all right. So this was 1998. And so I take this snake, and put it in a box, and we go to a pet store. And I walk into a pet store, and I was like, I just found the snake. I'd like to keep it. What do I need? And I shit you not, I'm holding what I now know is a ball python, right? And the guy at the pet store is like, oh, you got a boa. I'm like, cool. I don't know. What do I need for it, man? So he gave me a glass tank, you know, and I think he even gave me some sand or some shit for it with a heat rock.
Of course, the heat rock.
Yeah, and heat
Late
rock.
90s, definitely a heat rock.
Yep. And so I took this back to my barracks, back to my dorm room, and I kept it. I got out of the Marine Corps in 1999, and I still had that. And I went home with it to North Dakota. I was probably the only person with this snake in little old Langdon, North Dakota. And kind of from the Marine Corps, that's when I went into school, and I bounced all around the place. I mean, I went everywhere from California back to North Dakota to Reno, Nevada, back to North Dakota. And, you know, it just got to be a point where I can't keep dragging this thing around with me wherever I'm going. So then I finally gave up the snake to a friend when I was in Reno, Nevada. And then a couple years later, I moved back to North Dakota here, where fast forward a little bit, I finally met my wife, and she manages and grooms at a pet store. And one of her coworkers was breeding snakes. And I was like, that is fucking cool. I'd love to get another snake. And she was actually breeding them. And for the longest time, for maybe about a year, she was hiding snakes with me and my wife so that she didn't have to show her husband that she got another snake. And I even incubated, before I even like had my own snakes really of my own, I was incubating snakes for her. So, and that's kind of where it took off from. Crystal Wing is my friend. She's with Astral Morphs, and she's kind of like my mentor from the beginning, because she was like, here, keep this snake for me. And then a couple weeks later, here, incubate this clutch for me. I'm like, yeah, whatever you need. So the whole time, I didn't really want to dive deep into like collecting snakes and building up a breeding program, because in the city that I live in currently, at that time, all snakes were banned. Not just, you know, not just retics, not just anaconda. It was in the city ordinance. When you looked up prohibited animals, it said snakes. So it didn't matter if you had a garter snake or you had an anaconda. It was not allowed here. So I never really wanted to dive deep into collecting a whole lot, because I knew I was gonna, number one, at that time,
the price eventually.
Yeah. Number one, I was renting, where I wasn't even supposed to have a dog, and we had, what do we have? We had 3 dogs.
Is that what's in the background? Do they keep getting happy and panning? I keep hearing something. Like I hear like little paws or something going.
Yeah, Leah's back there. She's making sure that I don't drink too much is what she's doing. So, so
you don't remember your last interview, so
yeah, and no,
my man. I don't either.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, I mean, so that was kind of the whole thing. Is I was helping her out, and she was teaching me at the same time. And I didn't technically have my own snakes, but I was bringing in all these snakes, and I was breeding them for her, incubating them and stuff, but they weren't mine. That way, in case someone showed up, I'd be like, well, I'm just taking care of this for a friend that lives outside of town. So that's how that all kind of started. But yeah, I mean, getting back to your original question, I don't think I took the traditional route into getting snakes. I mean, they just, North Dakota,
it kind of just fell in your lap. That's freaking amazing, man.
Yeah, it really did.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
You talked earlier about how snakes were prohibited obviously now
Yep. We
most
can
people
have
kind of know like the outline of the story that you went in and you fought for it. But can you walk us through like the steps and what you really had to do to not only change the ordinance in your city, but
Mhm.
like change the people's minds there and kind of show them, hey, these
Yeah.
animals are okay to have.
The number, anytime anyone asks me, they say, you know, hey, I've got the same ordinance or a similar ordinance in my town, my state, whatever it might be. The first thing that I always stress is just show up. If you have a city council, show up to a city council meeting, show up to an organization, make yourself known, make yourself present. Because I honestly walked into a city council meeting, and you're at every city council, there's a section in the meeting where they open it up to public announcements, or you know, anyone from the public can get up and speak. So I took my moment when, as soon as they said that, and I walked up and I simply asked, there's 7 city council members. I was like, of you guys, how many of you are aware that all snakes are banned within the city limits? And every single person sitting on the council had no idea that this was an ordinance. The only person that ever knows that this ordinance was in place was the random cop that came into a situation maybe where it was a drug deal or something like that, and they walked in and there's all these snakes. Those are the only people that knew that there was an ordinance, because they stumbled into that situation. So we opened up a little bit of dialogue with the city council, and I said, this is what's going on. There's this ordinance. There are thousands and thousands of different species of snakes, harmless all the way up to venomous. So this is insane in a way, because you cannot tell me that someone is in danger of from a garter snake, you know. So through just about a 5
I don't know
minute,
what you're talking about. They're life threatening. They will
yeah,
bite your pinky. It's over.
they will musk on you. That will put you in the hospital. But man, just simply that first 5 minutes that was opened up to me, where I could, you know, just open up some dialogue with the city council. That was the start of it. From that point, the city council got back to me, and they put together a separate, what they called an ad hoc committee. And what that ad hoc committee was supposed to do was to just give guidelines or give recommendations to the city council that they could either approve of or not approve. And through that process of opening up this committee, we ended up discussing the ordinance on snakes, the ordinance on pit bulls, the ordinance on backyard hens. Do you remember what the other one was? There was another one in there. There was something else that we had to discuss, but we met.
But
like,
you literally opened the door for not just snakes in your
yeah,
area, but now multiple species.
Yeah,
Of multiple
of
species
different,
of animals.
yeah. So we got this dialogue, and we would meet for once or twice a month. We would meet, and we discuss the ordinance on basically on each one of these animals that we wanted to kind of reevaluate the ordinance on them. And it went so it was honestly really, really simple to get the ordinance changed for the snakes. I'm not exactly sure why, but I have a little sneaky suspicion that it had to do with one of the heated debates in all those discussions was the pit bulls. Pit bulls are still not allowed in my city. And it's a really super heated debate. And I think that the snake thing kind of flew under the radar while everyone else was fighting about pit bulls. So I feel kind of bad in that sense, because I wish that wouldn't have happened. If I don't know. I'm torn. If the snake issue could have taken center stage over the pit bull issue, and people were allowed to keep pit bulls, man, that I don't think,
I hear
honestly,
you. But you can't look back on that and
yeah,
like put that on you though. That's coming down from the representatives themselves and how they
yeah,
choose to attach it. It's like any bill or any ordinance you have.
yeah,
They're gonna choose one subject, they're gonna focus on that subject, and
yeah,
either all the underlying makes it or they don't. And that's how, like, as we know, that's how a lot of our laws against reptiles find their
yeah,
way into ordinance and
yeah,
eventually law.
yeah.
So
And if there is anybody,
you pulled the same trick that a lot of people like to do to ban them. So congratulations, sir.
yeah, little bait and switch.
Yes,
But
sir.
but I will say though, one of the biggest things that I learned, if I can pass on any wisdom to anybody that's maybe dealing with the same issue, is please keep your composure, because the topic of animal rights, the topic of animal ordinances, it's a super heated debate, and especially what I noticed the most, the pit bull issue, and people will lose their minds on both sides of the topic. I mean, because I think a lot of people know, I mean, they're the sweetest dog in the world, right? But those people that are scared,
They're super vicious.
the people that are scared of pit bulls are terrified of them. So that's one thing I learned was, in these situations, keep your composure. Getting back to the snake part of it, there was one guy during one of our meetings. So old guy, he's sitting back of the room, and he kind of caught my eye a few times. He was sitting in the back, and he had his arms folded, and he was just scowling at me the whole time as I was talking about. I think I was. Thank you to the U.S. ARC. They sent me pretty much an email full of information that I could present to the committee, that I just basically read verbatim. Just this is the information I had. But anyway, this guy was sitting there, and he was just scowling at me the whole time. And finally, we opened up the floor to people to talk, and he raises his hand, and he stands up from the back, and he looks at me, and he's like, "If you want snakes, get out of town. We don't need you here." I was like, and like inside, I was just fuming. I was like, I want to come unglued on this guy. But I was like, I understand your opinion. I understand, and you have every right to feel that way about it. But I would like to say that if somebody came to your house and told you that they don't like guns, are you just going to hand them your gun and say, "Here, take it. I understand that you're afraid of my gun, so here you go." And he sat back down. That was it. That was the only thing he had to say. And he just, his arms unfolded, and he just sat there and listened to me the rest of the night.
And that's how it works, man. Like you gotta find something for them to correlate it to.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of people look at us in this industry and they just think that we're a little bit off our rocker, which granted, most of us are a little bit off our rocker, but I mean,
for sure.
but it's hard for them to correlate like to another animal or to something that they're passionate about. So
and when you're dealing,
do that.
and when you're dealing with a lot of that stuff, if you let your emotions take over, you're making yourself look worse. You're making yourself look psychotic. I guess, not to use that word, but you're making yourself look just uncontrollable, and that's not what when you're trying,
you become unbecoming, and like you've lost your presence and your professionalism.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You're just screaming at the top of your lungs. This is basically you come off if you don't keep your composure in those situations. So that was the biggest thing that I learned, and that anytime that I've gotten a message from anybody that's dealing with those, I was like, listen, call up Phil Goss. He's got emails ready and waiting to send to you, chock filled with information that you can take and you can read in front of any institute, any council or any, you know, official. You can list all this information and make it, you know, straight up. This is not, you know, it's the best way to go is using information versus emotions. So,
Right. So you made snakes legal in your town of 1,500 people.
That was
Or-
my home. That was my hometown. I've since moved. I'm in the Minot, North Dakota. There's probably, with the Air Force Base that's up here, probably 60,000 people.
Oh, so
I'm in the
that's
freaking
huge.
metropolis.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? You went from a small town boy to a city boy.
I know, right? Woo! I finally made it.
We all know where the questions are going to end up tonight. Obviously, there's a gene that you're ecstatic about.
Yeah.
Before we get there, what else really drives you? Like, what morphs really have your eye right now?
The morphs that really have my eye, obviously, I want to get my influence into clown, obviously. And we'll talk more about my influence, right? I want to get that into clown. Desert ghost, everything kind of comes full circle back to the lace gene. Desert ghost is one that really I've realized as I sit back and look at my snake room that, holy Christ, I need to get some desert ghost. So, yeah, a little bit, which drives me outside of ball pythons, my super dwarf retic. I really love that little girl, and I need to get a male for her for sure. So I don't have big plans for super dwarfs.
How old is she?
She's 2 now. Or not 2. She's a year and a half. I'm sorry. Year and a half. So
We'll talk after this.
All right.
I got a sidebar for you.
Zang. Let's see what else. Do we have Kathleen in the chat? Have you noticed, Kathleen?
To be honest, as of late, not that I'm ignoring you guys, but when we start going, I try not to stare.
Screw it. I see now Zach's here. Ultramel.
I'm a Monarch guy, but it's okay.
Ultramel really drives me, and anytime I mention Ultramel, there will be a drink taken. That's a little inside.
Oh, we're playing the Ultramel game?
Ultramel game.
I'm not doing that. I won't be able to host this by the end of it because that's already 4 technically. Right.
No, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that I'm very interested in. I don't want to get too big. And what I have planned for what we're talking about later, I'm going to end up taking in a lot of holdbacks, and because that incomplete dominant is going to be worked as a recessive, just like a recessive. So I'm going to be really holding back a lot. I already held back a lot from this year, and next year I'll be holding back even more because I'm putting some stuff into recessives and stuff. So as much as I want to get into this gene, that gene, I have to stay the course. And stay focused so that I can accomplish what I'm trying to do.
So you said that you don't want to grow too big. What would you consider your optimal collection size right now?
Probably, I'm thinking, we got to do numbers. I'm thinking I can probably put about 4 more.
Hold
I
on,
can
hold on. Before you do this,
Yeah.
I know you're a Marine. Sorry, this is the last jab. You
Yeah.
have 10 fingers and 10 toes. If you need
I
to
know.
take
I know.
your socks and shoes off, it's okay.
That's funny because I wasn't gonna give you numbers. I was gonna say I think I can get about 4 more racks in here.
Okay. Well, that's what, 120?
Yeah. That's probably about it. I don't know. 4, maybe 5. We'll see. I honestly, I don't have a set number in mind. But as long as I can start putting the lace gene into a bunch of different recessives and maybe some different combinations, then I'm a happy man.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of room for rats is the thing. And I breed my own rats, so I can't outgrow my rats. So that's the way I look at it. There's no real set number other than, oh shit, I don't have enough to feed. So that's what I'm looking at.
No, I feel you. I definitely feel you.
Yeah. But
that's a good goal though, man. Like you're keeping a level head on it all. And I think that's one of the things that we've kind of always talked about over the past, I think it's what, 2-3 years that we've known each other.
Yeah.
Is always, you have a very fluid way that you do things.
Yeah, I think that comes in part with like, oh, what the hell am I doing? No.
So you are literally still living the military lifestyle where you make that split-second decision and just go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the funny thing that I've noticed, because, okay, so what I've started doing with my rat production is just like 10 feet away from this room, I have these huge grow tents, you know, that we use for indoor plants and stuff like that. So these the grow tents actually serve as my rat room. And that's all ventilated from the grow tent out a basement window, out a 6-inch inline fan that vents it all outside. And any person that walks into my house, one of the first things I'm asking is like, can you smell any rats? And I have yet to have anyone say that they can smell a thing. And I've even had a plumber down here working on some water lines and didn't know that he was standing next to these grow tents filled with fucking rats until they started, you know, fighting and chirping in there. And then he's like, what the hell is in there? Stuff. But
that's
so
that Fight House.
Yeah, so that's
welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight
you
Club.
don't talk about the grow tent. But yeah, I mean, so that's really worked well, and I've been able to produce my own rats. And getting back to how big I want to get, I've been able to produce my rats in my own house, and it's working very, very well for me. So there, kind of, again, it gets back to the number, how big I want to grow is, as long as I can produce my own rats with no problems to the rest of the house, that's where I want to stay, and I'll keep it that way. So I love what I'm doing.
So,
but
obviously lace is going in everywhere. Do you want to kind of talk about some of the projects you did this year? I know the Phantom, I think it was Phantom, right? Phantom lace project was really big this year for you.
Yeah, the Phantom. Okay, so I had 3 really big projects with lace. I had other ones, but I had 3 that were my most anticipated. The first one is I got lace into puzzle. That was my first lace clutch of this year, was a bamboo puzzle that I bred to a lace female. And knowing how strong bamboo is, I was kind of terrified of that project because I was like, I'm going to get bamboos and I'm not going to know if lace is in them or not. The lace gene is a very subtle gene in the heterozygous form. It gets overpowered by a lot of stuff. So I ended up producing 3 bamboos out of that clutch. One of them died 2 days after being out of the egg. But I was less I was left with 2 bamboos. One was a very nice bright one, and the other one was a little darker in color. But it had
I'm gonna mess with you. Don't freak out. Sorry,
yeah.
I just realized it was full screen, and I hate that.
but so the lighter one had a normal bamboo pattern. The darker one had more of a pinched alien heads and more knuckled. The alien heads were connected. So I thought initially, I was like, oh shit, this lighter one, that's my lace bamboo. Now, as time has gone by, that darker one seemed to get a little bit brighter. And that pinching of the alien heads, the combining of them, that could be the het puzzle influence, but it could also be the lace influence. So I'm like, shit, they're holdbacks regardless. I'm just going to take that.
You get to play the fun game and prove it.
Yeah. I'm just going to have to prove it out. What I was so certain was the lace bamboo out of the egg. Now I'm like, oh crap. I'm not 100% sure, but that's all right. So I still got some lace het puzzle females. Obviously they're going to take longer to get up to breeding size. I will have time before they're of size to get that male to another lace female and prove out which one is lace or not. So I'm not too concerned about it. It just kind of sucks though, because at first I was like, oh, I nailed it. I can tell the difference on a lace bamboo and a bamboo. Oh wait, no, I can't. so that's the way that goes. But so that was the first big project of the year. And then obviously I got lace into Phantom. It was a very simple project. That one was just a lace to a Phantom female. But that one was, man, it was, I've seen lace Mojaves, and I knew sort of what to expect. But in my opinion, and obviously I'm biased, I feel like it's much better in Phantom than it is in Mojave. And that one I'm really kind of curious about though, because if I can produce again a double super with the super Phantom and the super lace, I just really want to see if the super lace will put some pattern back into the belly line of a super Phantom. Because the super Phantom, it gets nice and white there along the belly. It really shrinks up the any kind of that pattern. Maybe it'll intensify that purple in the super Phantoms. Maybe we'll see that. So making kind of the double supers is something that's very, very intriguing to me, because then you move down to the next the clutch that I had was the super lace to the blackhead Phantom. And the interaction between lace and blackhead just really, really impressed me. I was like, because it just in the blackhead laces, the belly line was just super cool. It intensified that lacing along the belly line more so than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I'm getting that into focus or not. So that's the lacing or popcorning, I like to call it. It just really intensified it. And so that's just the blackhead lace. And I was really happy with how that interaction between the lace and the blackhead happened. And then moving forward with the lace blackhead Phantom, that one blew my shit apart. Holy cow. I was not expecting this whatsoever. So this one here is the Blackhead Lace Phantom. And again, this one, what I'm working towards is, again, double supers. So to get like a super Blackhead, super Lace Phantom. Oh.
It's night times.
Night. So I mean, those were the three highlights.
I really like that though, man. Like that Blackhead Lace Phantom. I like how the Phantom still gave that white belly, but the lace, like,
kind of put that
it's
little
almost it's
flecking
like
in it.
seeing the lace right at the bottom of like a slip or something for a
Yep.
girl's dress or an actual slip. Like it's
and the thing with the lace gene that, okay, so everyone loves putting fire into stuff. And I see a lot of the enhancement and brightening of in lace that you get from fire, right? But when you put lace into combinations, and you breed it back to it, you're not getting a white snake. You get a super fire, you're kind of fucked, because if you've got multiple genes in there, you don't know, right? So I think you get all the benefits
you
of
can
fire.
blacklight it though. They always said you could blacklight it.
You can blacklight it. Sure. And you can still take a guess. But so I think you get all of those things from fire, but you're not wasting a breeding because you put lace to lace or fire like you would if you got fire to fire. Then the other thing that I've noticed is that there is a lot of similarities. There's a lot of the same properties in the lace gene that there is in hypo. And what I mean by that is if you go back through my Instagram, I think you even mentioned it, and I've got a picture of a super lace in shed, and it's like it's in blue times 20. When it goes into blue, it's just like you open up the tub and you're like, holy crap. It's insane. It's just like a hypo. When you see a hypo in shed, it's just intense blue. And then when my super lace sheds out, it's a completely white shed, just like hypo. There's no pattern left over in the shed when they shed out. In fact, I did, again, I hope this shows up. So that
one might be a little bit harder, but I like where you're going.
Yeah, that Blackhead Lace Phantom, when it shed out, obviously you saw how dark of a snake it is, and when this is its shed. So I mean,
I can't really see any pattern.
Yeah, there is. I can't find any pattern on that. And that's Blackhead Lace Phantom. It's crazy. So that's why I talk when people ask me about it. I say it's got properties like fire and hypo. I mean, Justin Kobilka even kind of said, "Hey, it's like a poor man's desert ghost." So it will clean up your combinations. I'm not thinking that lace is ever going to produce like a Pompeii level animal. But what I am saying is you start putting lace into your combinations, you're gonna set yourself apart. If you have somebody that's looking for a blackhead phantom, right? And they scroll through and they find a blackhead phantom, the next snake that they see is a blackhead lace phantom. They're gonna pick your snake every time. I guarantee it, because it's going to be a better looking snake. It's going to be a brighter looking snake, and it's going to be a better snake as an adult. I have pastel laces that still have yellow in them and deep dark blacks to them. So, nice. And that's a pastel. We all know pastels age the worst, right?
Depends on the line.
Yeah, right. So like I said, I don't think that it's going to be some groundbreaking snake that's ever produced with lace, but I do say,
I think you're holding yourself back.
yeah.
You're the worst at marketing yourself. You're here to pump up the lace gene, and you're talking shit.
Well, I know, but I'm saying it's going to make everything that you do better with whatever combinations that you personally like. Say, like you GHI, right? You start making lace GHIs. Yeah. You start making lace GHI combinations, you're going to set yourself apart from some Joe Schmo that's got another another GHI combination. It's going to make it better, man. I'm telling you.
We've been talking about lace for 2 years, man.
I know. So
I'm just waiting to see the right combo come out.
wait a minute. Marshall reminds me of the suit guy right now. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
So you talked about this year. You talked about your 3 major projects that you loved.
I didn't get to the 4th and the 5th though.
Okay. I mean, you could go there, or we can. I mean, I'll let you talk all you want. I don't care.
Oh, okay, all right. Because the other stuff is like I went dark.
Okay.
And the lace puzzle stuff. That's just simply to get lace in the puzzle. That was the main focus there. But I went with some dark stuff, and then I went with some light stuff. And unfortunately, one of my light projects is still, she just ovulated 2 weeks ago, so I'm still waiting on her. But then earlier in the year, I did produce some citrus pastel calico laces, and those ones were freaking fire. Oh, I love those ones. They were nice and bright. I mean, with the lace influence, you don't see anything along the belly line really because of the calico, but it intensified all their colors. That the female I held back has been getting brighter and brighter with every shed, and we're talking about a ball python here. Right. So she was getting brighter and brighter with every shed. It took me a while to get to her, get her going though, because the weird thing with the female I held back is she would literally strike at everything and anything in her vicinity. She would, like, a breeze would go by and she would strike at the breeze. And I thought for sure, oh yeah, she's going to eat no problem. It took me a month to get her to eat her first meal. So it was like she was so freaking amped up. She wasn't interested in eating. She would just strike at shit. And I felt bad for the freaking meals I was giving her. I was like, oh, she's torturing every pinky or fuzzy that I put in there. So, Jesus. Yeah. So it took me a while, but she finally started going, and she's been growing in size, and I'm really liking the way that she's aging. It's really, again, it's just, I mean, it's a citrus line pastel calico, and I think with the lace stuff, you're better. From what I've seen in examples, some of the best stuff with lace is like your citrus or your lemon line pastels. So it works really well.
You're looking at the higher intensities,
and
it really blows those out.
It really intensifies it. I mean, another thing, like with the lace, it's an enhancing gene, so you're going to enhance everything. The one that ovulated a couple weeks ago, though, this is okay. Story time. The original snake that got me into the lace gene, at the time, I was just looking for a breeder Enchi combination. So I was looking through Morph Market, and I came across this one snake, and he was listed as an Enchi pastel lace. I'm like, well, the price is right, and I need Enchi. I don't know anything about this lace gene, but we'll take a go at this guy. So I picked him up, and I brought him home. Couple months later or whatever, I started breeding him. And the first thing that I put this Enchi pastel lace to was a fire female. And when I produced a clutch from him, I got super fires. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not supposed to be there. What the hell's going on? And then I'm looking through there. Not one single snake is a pastel. A few months later, another clutch from him produced no pastels. So I'm like, well, shit, this is not an Enchi pastel lace, because nothing in either one of those clutches even remotely resembled a lace. So I was like, shit, what I actually bought instead of an Enchi pastel lace turns out to be an Enchi fire. And I have learned since that Enchi and lace is and fire. When you have Enchi fires or Enchi lace and fire lace, those combinations, for whatever reason, Enchi and fire overpower lace. So it can kind of get a little tough IDing those combinations with lace. But what I purchased as an Enchi pastel lace turned out to be an Enchi fire. So
how long did it take you to sell that?
I still got them. I still have them.
You're a nice person. I would have. That's just me, though.
So here he is in shed. But so this is the male that I bought as an Enchi pastel lace. And he's deep in shed right now, but now I only did 2 pairings with him that first time around, but his offspring is the female that just went into ovulation, because as much as I don't want it to be true, I still have a little teeny tiny bit of hope that maybe there is lace hiding in him, and I misidentified it early on. But to be on the safe side, the only holdback from his very first clutch with me just ovulated, and she was bred to a super lace. Just checking. Want to find out if maybe I can get a super lace out of that. Either way, I know that every single one of those babies is going to be lace in those, because
right.
I used the Enchi, or I mean the super lace. But it was kind of a fun little track. But that's the snake that got me into the whole lace thing, because when I picked him up, I had to research the whole lace gene. And the more I looked into it, the more I got intrigued with something that was what I thought was a really cool gene, but not a whole lot of people are working with it. So that's the guy that sent me on the track. Yeah.
So, moving to the hard stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
I have to stick to beer. It'll be a bad day. One of these days, I'll go hard liquor on a live.
I have to say, though,
I'm not ready for it.
It is a very, very tasty smoked maple bourbon.
What is it?
Knob Creek smoked maple bourbon.
I'm on a Basil Hayden kick right now. So
nice.
Me and all the guys, we enjoy a couple of glasses. It gets us in a little tiny bit of trouble with the old ladies, but we enjoy
little schwasty.
Little trouble.
Yeah.
So, looking at your next year, how do you really want to push? Well, with what you're willing to divulge, like obviously, I know some people like to keep some stuff quiet. I'm not gonna make you spill everything, but
no, I honestly, my whole mentality is I don't have any real secrets, because I'm really trying to promote the lace gene and what I'm doing with it. So the more that I can talk about it, maybe it gives other people some ideas. And to be honest, there's not a whole. Not every other person is working with the lace gene, so I feel comfortable talking about it, because if I talk about a project I'm working, chances are the next person isn't working that, you know.
Right.
The only thing, and the one thing that I'm really pushing this year is I'm getting it into clown. So instead of going out and buying lace het clowns or a lace clown, instead of buying that, I've got a banana pastel clown and just a single gene clown that I'm putting to a black pastel fire lace and a pastel lace. So those are the two projects that I'm putting lace into clown. The other ones that I'm doing is I'm just shooting for some supers. Oh wait, no.
I think it's gonna look wicked on that banana too.
Yeah. The only thing is he's pretty young, and he. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the banana pastel clown to both of those females, but I'm backing him up with the single gene clown, just because he's pretty young. He's 500 grams, and he's not producing any sperm, so he doesn't seem to have a whole lot of interest. There's my buddy. Holy cow, William. Holy shit. What's the history on the lace gene? Where did it originate? I'm not familiar with the history of it. Okay. So the lace gene, you have two lace genes that are kind of three actually, but you have the lace, which the super form is white lace. And then there's one that is called the lace blackback, but the lace blackback is also known as the green pastel, and some would say that it's also het red xanthic. Those three are kind of intertwined some way. I don't know about that. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to get involved into it. And then you have a recessive lace that's called black lace, I think, or something. Not sure. But the lace gene that I work with, which the super form is the white lace, was founded by Scott Seavey. And Scott Seavey used to work for Nerd. And if you wanted to get more into Scott Seavey, I'd say Google him. There's a lot of history there with Nerd. So Scott Seavey was working for Nerd, and he bought some stock from Kevin, some African imports, and he proved out the lace gene. So there's that. From Scott Seavey, the lace blackback was proved out by Amir Solmeyer or something like that. So hope that answered your question, Will. But I'm really nervous that Will showed up.
He's been here the whole time.
Has he really?
Holy
shit!
He heard all your dick and fart jokes, as Chris puts it.
No. Will's the main reason that I was able to get puzzle in. He is the reason that I was able to get puzzle into lace. So, yeah, that's where I picked up my bamboozle from. So great guy.
So you're gonna try to go light with clown.
I think
lace
so.
Right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just okay. So I want to say that I work heavily with lace, but there's a lot of people out there that have a lot more firepower with the lace. But so that's why I've chosen to just start producing making my own hets, because I bought all the racks and everything like that, and I can't afford to buy a lace clown right now, so I just got to make my own. So
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm doing the same thing, man. You got to build those head armies to prepare for the future.
Oh yeah. So that's coming up this year. Is I'm going to make a lot of lace clown hets. and then just the normal stuff because I don't want to lose my roots, and I've got to get. I want to work towards making some lace yellow belly stuff. So I put an ivory that's possible a hidden gene woma into a lace female, and then what was it? Oh, my super lace. He's going to a spot nose Mojave, so I can. That's one I'm really excited about because then I'll have hopefully some lace Mojaves that I can compare to my phantom laces, and I'll be able to like right in my hand decide which route I want to go with it. So I might be
Super
selling off.
excited about it. You're so excited about it.
Oh yeah. You have these examples right in front of you. It's awesome. I love it. So.
So besides lace,
Yeah.
what would you say is your favorite gene to work with so far?
Lace. No.
I said besides lace. Damn it.
Damn it. Blackhead for sure.
Blackhead.
Yeah, I'm really pissed at myself that I didn't pick up more blackhead early on before I started filling up tubs. So I really like the blackhead gene, and it's just amazing whichever direction you want to go by throwing it into recessives, or if you want to work in complete dominant projects. I think, and I thought early on that I was really like drawn towards the lighter mutations and stuff like that, but it seems like everything I produce ends up coming out dark.
Welcome to the dark side.
Right. I was like, oh, I love that bright shit.
No, we all do it too.
Cool.
You know the shitty part about it is like when I first started, over half of my collection had like lesser or butter or Mojave or anything that'll form a freaking blue-eyed Lucy, right? So it's like, oh, I have all these bright, beautiful snakes. Oh crap! Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to see anything.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I got smart and started going to the dark side.
It's like a natural progression. I think it's the bright stuff that catches your eye and brings you in, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that dark stuff is really freaking cool.
It's like a fine wine. It just gets better.
Yeah. I see there in the comments that I think no one wanted to work with the gene because of Scott's history. And I think John B 1990, he's got a good point. I think a lot of people, if anybody doesn't know, so Scott Seavey, like I said, was working for Nerd. Then he broke off and went his own way, and he started up his own. He's got a pet store out on the East Coast. And then early on, when the Bumblebee, this is back when it was for like $10,000, I think, or something like that. There was a Bumblebee stolen from Kevin McCurley, and that Bumblebee ended up getting sold to Scott Seavey. So now, and he did serve some time for that whole situation. So I think a lot of that kind of did kill the lace gene a little, but yeah. So there's that part of the story.
I mean, you can't fault a gene for what a man did, though.
Right, and that's kind of the sad part. And I've talked to Scott like once. I think I've had one conversation with him, and this was years ago. He served his time. I'm not going to say it was good, bad. I don't want to have any opinion on it because I'm not interested in working with Scott Seavey on something or anything. I just want that lace gene, damn it. So there's that. That was a good point.
I love it.
Yeah. So what was your question again?
I fucking forgot. I was letting you ramble.
I know I'm good at rambling.
You are.
Yeah.
I think we went from what's your other besides lace? What are your other favorite genes? You said blackhead, and then we went into lace again because obviously it's lace.
Yeah, there was a question that popped up that.
Well, John popped it up at the end of you talking about blackhead, and then we went into that story.
I know. I can't multitask. I got to stop talking for a second to read.
There's a reason we were military, sir.
Yeah,
We are
right.
simple-minded.
But definitely, you know, another gene that I'm super interested in is the puzzle gene, and
I freaking love it.
I
One day.
freaking love the puzzle gene. But obviously, that's another one that I'm not heavily. I don't have puzzle all over the place because I had to spend a pretty penny to get my bamboozle. So I bought my bamboozle male. And over the next few years, really a lot of stuff that's going to come out in terms of puzzle from me are hets, because I'm putting that male to a lot of different females. I do have a shot at some visual puzzles this upcoming year.
Nice.
I'm putting my bamboozle to a spider het puzzle. Thanks again to Will, my boy. So another shout out. so I do have a shot at
Philippek getting all the love tonight.
I know. If I don't, he'll squash my head. So
well, I mean, he does squat like 800 pounds. So,
I know.
you know.
Yeah. So if I don't talk nice, he'll beat me up. But
so what else do you do besides snakes? We've been on snakes for an hour. We've talked about lace for probably about 40 minutes, which I know you can go hours. We've done this.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Or
So,
what other species besides ball pythons do you have if you want to keep going snakes?
Honestly, okay. So for species of snakes, I have my super dwarf retic, still growing her up. That's my plan for her. Is that's a side project for me. So I'm not going to get heavily into the super dwarfs, but I am going to eventually pick up a male, and that's going to be my one breeding with that. Then I don't get a lot of opportunities to vend here in North Dakota, but I have been able to. We do have one show every year in Fargo, North Dakota, and I've been able to vend at a couple of shows in Minnesota.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Oh, yeah, you know. Up here in North Dakota, it gets colder than a witch's titty. So, but every time that I've vended a show, one thing that I've noticed is that you can't keep hognoses on the table. So I've got some very good friends of mine down to the south of me in Bismarck, North Dakota. Ben and Brenda Howard with Fire and Ice Reptiles. They're great people, and they've sold me a few hognoses. So they're still, I still got to grow them up, but eventually I'm going to have a couple of projects with the toffee belly hognoses and some exanthic hognoses. And those are, again, it's like a side project on top of the rest of the ball pythons, but it's just mainly something that I want to do for myself for fun, but also so when I do have the chance to vend at a show, I have a little bit of a variety on my table. And I think anytime that you can go with a hognose and some retics or whatever, that's ball pythons, that's a nice little mix on a table. So it's more about having fun for myself and having a little variety. So
I like it, man. I like it. I recently went into a new species myself because it's like I get bored easy, unfortunately.
yeah.
I get bored really easy. I have retics, I have ball pythons, I have boas. I get bored really easy, so I keep adding shit instead of staying focused. But and we all know I like dark, so I pulled in MBKs. And granted, my males to size, like I could breed them now, but the female I have is just a baby, so it's gonna be a couple years. But I was like, well, I could do just like a little gradient all across the table. You know what I mean? Like progressively light to darker and dark to pure freaking black.
There you go. I like it.
And then a couple of different species. I mean,
I like it. I like it. Uh-huh.
And you are absolutely right on that, Nava. So Tom moved all his colubrids. Well, almost all of his colubrids at Arlington this last show.
Yep.
Ball pythons, not so much.
Yeah.
It was a weird show though. Like, to be fair on that one, Arlington was not like any Arlington I've seen before. This past one.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was a great time. There was a lot of great people there. But Arlington just, it wasn't the crowd you see usually. Everyone was a little bit more cautious than they usually are about buying. But the vendors still did good. Like, vendors still went home with money, you know what I mean? But it wasn't the show that most people see in the fall with Arlington.
Yeah. Our show back in September in Fargo, so the numbers were down half of what they were the year before. But what we noticed is that the people that showed up.
Did you see that? I put Will up, and
yeah, I know.
freaking Marshall got nervous again. He was like, shit, it's his name. I gotta look. What's it say? What's it say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
We're good. We're good.
I didn't make him mad.
But the Fargo show was down half as in attendance as what it was the year before. But what we noticed is the people that showed up were there to buy. The half that didn't show up were the half that just come to look and just wanted to hang out, basically. So it was like the numbers were down, but the sale actually, I think for me personally, that show, my sales were way better than the year before. So I was really pleased with it, even though we're in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but this was September after the pandemic and the shutdown. So yeah, that's what I think that has happened to the shows is the people that just want to hang out are staying home. The people that want to buy will show up.
No, I can definitely see that. They want to buy. The competition's still there. It's just whether or not you're able to present it the way you need.
Right.
What would you say is your best quality at a show? Like, what are you able to bring different than the others in North Dakota?
All of us at that show. There
all
was
10 of you.
Yeah, at that show there was only 2 of us that were dedicated ball python. Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah. So
it's like an all animal show, or is it an exotic show?
No, it's an exotic show. So it's the Fargo Exotic Reptile Show or Exotics Show or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so there was 2 of us that were dedicated ball pythons. There was a couple of pet stores that came with their whole fucking show or their whole store, so you could go there and buy. I want to say that they even had cats and little kittens there for sale. Another lady had lychees and stuff like that. So that was so. And then there's also some saltwater people that were there and some coral and stuff like that. So it was a whole slew of different stuff. But it's a North Dakota show. They're weird. We're weird.
But what makes you stand out?
There's
only 2 of you, so how'd you stand out from that other person? Answer the question, Marshall.
What makes me stand out is I am the law. No, I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things that I love about vending a show isn't like the. I just love when that parent comes up and it's like, okay, my son is 13 years old and he wants a ball python. I'm like, my eyes light up and I was like, all right, Jimmy, come sit down. All right, let's talk. So that's the one thing that I think kind of after doing shows now for, I've only vended shows for 3 years now. And I think I still have that honeymoon phase or whatever, because I freaking eat that shit up. As like when a kid comes in, it's
I
like, this
saw
is my
that. Your eyes
yeah.
finally lit up. We've been at
Yeah.
this for a fucking hour and 15 minutes, and that's the
Yeah.
first thing you got excited about.
Yeah. When I got that kid that comes up, I want my first snake. I was like, all right, I'll give it to you. no, I was like, because when I go to a show, I bring in these starter kits. I bring in the 6-quart tubs with a thermostat, a heat pad, just like what's his name, ball python. So when he vends shows, he puts together a starter kit, and I kind of taken that little tidbit from him. And I'll go into a show, and I got these starter kits, and I've got my snakes, and I have a parent come up and it's like, I'd love to give my kid a snake. Well, have I got a deal for you? I was like, I got my little creature care card, I've got my starter kit, and I've got your perfect little ball python right here. And just to go through all that stuff with the kids, or even an adult that's like, getting their first snake. I love that shit. I eat that shit up. It's like getting someone on the path, and who knows, maybe in a couple of years they're breeding their own snakes, or maybe they're coming back to you for another snake or whatever. It's just, that's one of the things that I love about it. And that, I think my passion for that part of it, because people get really burnt out on trying to sell snakes, I think that's what sets me apart a little bit. So it's daunting. Yeah, it's daunting. I love
my favorite part, in all honesty. Like watching the eyes of the kids like glow up is literally my favorite part of reptiles.
Because I think I was talking to Matt Gelbrandt, O'Malley's Morphs. We were chatting back and forth, and I was like, I freaking love working with my snakes. I love hanging out with people on YouTube. I love going to shows. I love hanging out with snake people. I fucking hate selling them. I hate marketing. I'm horrible I'm horrible at social media. I think I probably lose more friends because like I didn't watch their YouTube channel or something like that. I was like, it's like I meant to watch it. I swear to God, I was gonna watch that video, but
You didn't watch this video? I'm never talking to you again.
Exactly.
Ever.
I'm horrible. That's if I could say there was one of my biggest downfalls. My biggest downfall is social media. I'm terrible with it. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
Look at me. I don't know what you want me to say to help you with that. Like,
I know.
I fucking suck at social media. I don't know why I'm building right now. Like I honestly don't. I don't know if someone got excited and like my name's just miraculously popping out now. I don't know what the fuck I did, but I did something. I love the passion that comes in kids, man. Like, just the first time they hold one, or like the eyes light up, or even the adult. Like, this is gonna sound really bad. This is gonna sound really, really bad. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. Fuck it.
Everybody sit down.
Like, I almost get a hard on watching the adult get over their fear.
Yeah.
Like that. Those are the two things that will always keep me like passionate and just in love with doing what I do, because you see the child loves it. You've broken that fear, but you get that fucking 30, 40, 50-year-old adult that's like, oh, we can go look at them, but don't touch anything. That's okay. And then you get the kid to hold it, and they're like, well, fuck, the kid held it.
Yep.
I don't want to. Come here, mom. Come here, grandma. Come here, dad.
That's
Here
what
you go. It's not that bad.
Yep. That's what I used to do.
That's my favorite thing.
So my daughter doesn't really, my daughter's 13 years old, and she, like, I never tell her like, hey, you have to come help me do this, or you have to come clean these tubs with me. I never tell her to do anything because I want her to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make anything with the snakes a chore for her. It's got to be something that she wants to do. But the one thing that I will tell her she has to do is anytime that I have to go to, I'm asked to do a speaking engagement at the library here in town. They'll have me bring in some snakes or whatever. And the one thing that I tell her she has to do is she has to come with me for these speaking engagements because she's the one that holds the snakes. I don't hold the snakes. She holds the snakes. And then my 4-year-old son, Roman, who was here earlier, he comes with too. And I'll hand him a snake and I hold a snake with him while my daughter's holding a snake so that people can see with any fears or whatever. It's like you were saying, oh, fuck, there's a little girl. She's holding a snake. I better hold a snake. So I think it's just a good way to visually show people, like, come on, give this a chance. Yeah. Give this a chance. Try it out. See what you think. Or the old, like, if someone's, wants to touch it, is like, okay, I will hold the head right over here and you can touch the tail. I think that one works really well all the time. I got the head. The head is nowhere near you.
That's what she said.
Just a tip.
Oh man.
So, oh man, I wish you had like a crickets.
Right. One day when I'm making money on YouTube, this will be beautiful. I promise. This will be such a production you don't want to miss it. But until that day.
Yeah. Hit the button. Crickets.
You just hit me. And whatever poor guest decides to say yes to me.
Yeah. Yes.
Which for this week it was Marshall.
Yeah.
Marshall, you freaking breed. You do the best thing in the world, which is enrich others by education. You have fought for our country. You have fought for your rights to do your passion, sir. What's next for martial law? Like, I feel like you're in it all right now. So,
yeah.
What's your next big step?
I think the next step is to just continue on with what I'm doing. I do realize that one of the things that I have to improve upon myself to grow my snake breeding stuff. I do realize that I gotta get a little bit better, a lot better with social media, because that's becoming such a big part of this. Not even though I don't like it, but it is becoming such a big part of this. And I think I need to have a better social media process or presence. So
it's hard,
if anything,
man. It's really hard.
It is.
Like, I literally, I have to sit there, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to, because it's my show. Damn it.
Yeah. Damn it. Do it.
I sit there on a freaking Sunday night, and I pick out 5 to 7 snakes, and I take pictures of those 5 to 7 snakes, and that's literally my Instagram. And then if I'm doing anything cool throughout the week, I'll try to post something, or I'll share stuff that I see from accounts that I think would be really freaking good. And that's all I do. Yeah. But for some reason it's working right now.
That's the way to go, I guess. I don't know. I need to take some tips on that, I guess. I don't know.
I got a tip for you.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
What? No, wait, what?
You were too excited for that one.
No, there was something I was gonna say. It's like my biggest thing with like the whole social media is I'm so much better in speaking than I am when I have someone message me and they have a problem. Say, oh, there's something wrong with my snake, or what do you think? Show me a picture. Do you think she's in ovulation? Or whenever I get any of these questions, My biggest thing is, like, I can see this question, I can read it, and in my mind, I know exactly what I want to say and how I want to answer it. But for whatever reason, typing out an answer for me takes 5 hours. And then I'll have to delete it and edit it. And oh, my grammar was wrong. And oh, I misspelled this or whatever. So then 6 hours later, I finally have an answer for this person that just wanted to know, is my girl.
Is it a boy or a girl?
Yeah. Is it a boy or a girl? And I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, you see the two hemipenes.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I'm turning into Chris Eaton. I'm making fucking dick and fart jokes.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest problem, though, is like trying to talk to someone through text or type or whatever takes me forever. And then, yeah. Sometimes I'll answer somebody. I don't like the way I said it, so I erase it. And then I don't even answer their fucking question because I erased it and went off and did something else and forgot they asked me a question. So I probably, oh God, social media is my freaking downfall. I can't stress that enough.
All part of the game, man. It comes with time.
Yeah.
It comes with time. I hate social media, but it's fun. My wife especially hates it because when I'm talking about making those pictures, it's not at like 5-6 o'clock at night. It's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
She's passed out. She's waking up, walking in the room, giving me the evil stare, like, why are you not in bed with me? Why are you looking? Why are you playing with your snakes instead of laying in bed? But it happens.
It happens.
Sacrifices must be made for success.
Oh, absolutely.
So that we can help you succeed, brother.
Mm.
Let us know where we can find you.
I am on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, all under Marshal Law Morphs. That's all you have to search.
That is
the law.
Sweet and to the fucking point.
Search that.
If you guys have any questions for Marshall, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Oh my God. Somebody's having a good time. Mindy's here. Sorry, guys. My well, you know, the Cusco Patreon, they're the best group ever. Holy Christ.
Yeah, if I could be an active member of that, maybe I could.
Well, you could.
Maybe I'll quit being an asshole sometime.
You could show up a little more. That'd be cool. No, it's seriously the Cusco Patreon group. We're like family. We're like glue. Zoom meeting would be fun. Yeah.
That would that's actually something that I'm thinking about here in the future. Yet another thing I'm probably going to steal from Cusco because I'm that asshole. Once we surpass 1,000, I'll probably start up like a Zoom or a Discord group or something like that.
There is something kind of curious here. Like Mindy, what happened? Mindy Boyer, no, my body hurts way too much.
Something about her lot. I don't know.
I missed something somewhere along the way.
I think we missed a lot of things.
I think so.
What's your favorite question person asks you? What's your favorite question that a person asks you? Can you sex my snake for me?
Yeah, no. Okay. Oh no, I know what it is. I know what it is. My favorite. I know what it is because I tend to get a lot of people that will ask me about like, hey, I paired my yellow belly lace to this or that or whatever, and the one question I get a lot is this a lace? And they'll show me a top down picture. If anybody wants to reach out to me or anybody else that you're wanting to, I try to identify a lace animal, definitely get a side shot that, especially showing that belly line and maybe even the belly, because a lot of the times lace will have a clear belly, but that popcorning along the belly line is very key, is very important. So the one question I get asked a lot is this a lace or whatever? Show me a side shot, please. That's what I need to see.
Nice.
But Marshall, it's from
Apparently it's jokes coming from Billy's podcast tonight.
Oh, okay. Whew. I thought somebody was injured, and I was like, oh shit.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we are at that point. If you haven't yet, go check out Marshall. He slacks on YouTube, but
I do.
give him some love, force him to make videos, force him to be better about social media and help grow his brand. Get into the damn lace gene. I say that to myself as much as I say it to you. And y'all have a good night. We'll see you on the next one.
I love you all.
What a suck up. No, I'm just
I know,
kidding.
right?